What's up, Refresh Talk? It's another episode with your boy, the real Matt Carmona. What up? Super excited about this month. I have my very special guests. You guys know them. You love them. Mr. Joshua Blake.
Dr. Joshua Blake.
Dr. Blake. We're just going to speak it right into existence today.
My God.
And then everyone, please hold your breath for the ravishing, exquisite, the blessing of Abraham, Miss Shaga.
Stop doing it. No, I got judged last time.
No, it's every time you're in an episode, we need
Introduce me again.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, you tuned in today for nothing less than to experience a moment.
Oh my God.
A brief moment with world-renowned recording artist,
Loctician
to the stars, Miss Professor Shay Guy. Yes.
And a curtsy, did you see that?
Wow, beautiful.
It's the English tea.
It's the We've had the pleasure of English tea today, and it has really transformed who we are.
Yes.
My God.
So, let's recap real quick. This is the first Refresh Talk since our worship night that we had in March. Any thoughts that you'd like to share? Like, not to rub it in, but if you weren't there,
You weren't there.
I mean, you missed it.
You did miss out. You missed out.
And I guess that's easy for me to say because I'm on the flyer, but so are you guys. So, any thoughts? Just a quick recap. Refresh worship night and why maybe they should not miss the next one.
It's a good idea not to do that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? I feel like our thoughts, we've already given our thoughts. What are your thoughts?
How could you have already have given them? This is the first one.
You got my bad, Joe. We've given thoughts among us. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm biased. But these are some of my favorite worshipers, right? But then you add some of my other favorite worshipers to that who cannot just sing, but can really usher in the presence of God, can really exhort you through where you are to where you're going next. Like, we were in an atmosphere with people who wanted to be there and wanted to worship. You know, it was phenomenal. Like, it was refreshing. Is that cliche? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, so
it was refreshing.
It's not tiring yet.
For me as a worship leader to be in an environment like that. Y'all worship leaders know what it is. Like, sometimes we feel like we fighting. Sometimes we feel like we're working. So it can be very exhausting. But in environments where you're just literally in a room of people chasing God, what?
Can't beat it.
Say less. It was great. I can't wait for the next one, literally.
Honestly, I feel like everybody who missed out, April 8th, the weekend of April 8th, we're in a conference.
Come on,
Yeah.
Y'all need to be there.
The Eagles conference.
The Eagles conference, Eagles Wing Conference,
Yes,
hosted
Eagles
by
Wings.
not only my brother, Jordan Blake, but that was an experience that you had to just be there for. I feel like I wish we could get testimonies and hear from the people that were actually in attendance, but if you look out of the crowd, people were literally just surrendering. And I feel like that was the heart of the moment that so many people were in, was just surrendering. And even some of the testimonies of other worship leaders are like, I surrendered to God in that moment. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to sing this, but I just gave up to God. And even our excellent leader here was doing his thing in terms of surrendering to God and giving up the nuance of perfection, being a perfectionist.
Oh my God.
And but
moving on.
In other news.
No, but wait, testimonies. Somebody got healed, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pastor Darren, Apostle Darren, he was like, had issues with his shoulder, and said he couldn't even lift his arm a certain amount, and was able to do it that night, and was like, that was real.
Yeah, it was very real.
That was real. So amazing time of just worship and the presence of God, and that's the goal every single time.
Yep.
And we had a packed house. It was a good time. So I know we're planning other things. Next thing is we're going to be at the Eagles Wings Conference. Check it out. Make sure if you're in Columbus area, come on out and be a part, because I think it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. So appreciate everyone for coming out, being a part. We're going to continue to grow this community, like this Refresh family. I just believe that there's people out there that are waiting on us and looking for us, and so we're going to continue to invite people and grow the community that we have, right? So looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so today's topic, what we're going to talk about is honor. And really, this was an idea that came up when we were speaking about what we wanted to talk about. And if I had to title anything, I would say the lost art of honor. The lost art of honor. And so I think right now we live in a world where honor has a negative look or feel. I think honor is not cool. I think like in pop culture today, honor sometimes may feel like control, or honor may feel like kiss up.
Got it. Okay.
And I do feel like the social media and reality television, just the world that we live in, like honor is not the cool thing to do. Honor is not cool anymore. So I think that it can be negative for some people. And let's be honest, like as leaders, it's been a hard season. It's been a hard season. And the reason I feel that way is like COVID, all the changes. Leaders are supposed to have answers. And leaders don't have answers right now because they've never encountered this scenario and never thought we would. And so I think it's really difficult for leaders right now to lead because they really, if they're honest, they don't know what's right and what's wrong. And honestly, no matter what you do, someone will think you're right and someone will think you're wrong. Mm-hmm. So there's no win-win scenario right now in leadership. And so I thought it was really important for us to maybe talk about honor, speak on it, share some thoughts, and maybe help some people self-reflect, as I did. Yeah. And I was like, I need to get better at this. Yeah. So this is really coming from a place not of like, I'm perfect at honoring others. Mm-hmm. This is coming from a place of like, I think this is needed for leaders right now. And if you're a second leader, tier leader, a third tier leader, if you're not the main person who's leading the whole charge, I think it's important for you to not only know how to give honor, but also how to receive honor. Mm-hmm. So there's a place for that as well. So I'm excited. I'm going to ask this question. We'll start with this. When was the last time you honored publicly or privately? And I would just think about that. You can share a story or you can just say, I don't know or whatever. But for you guys watching, can you think of the last time you really honored someone publicly or even privately?
I just have okay, so for context, for them and for us, so we're on the same page, and maybe this is a reoccurring thing for me. Can you really just give your definition of honor? Like, what are we talking about when we say honoring up or honoring the people around you? Like, so we're all on the same page.
Okay. To me, I think honor can be complicated. Mm-hmm. But in its simplest form, two things. Honoring up is most common, I think. Okay. I think it's important for us to honor up and honor down. Mm-hmm. And honor all around. So that whole thing is like, it's easy to honor up. I think it's really noble of you to honor down. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important for us to understand honor up and down, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense? And then you're saying, what is honor?
Yes.
To me, honor is nothing. Honor is just an idea unless expressed.
Yeah.
And so to me, honor is value that is expressed.
Got it.
So can you value your leaders up? For some people that's super easy. Like yeah, of course we do, right? That's I think that's the most common honor system, honor up. And we value the people that are leading us. We value the people we look up to, right? And I think to me it's more noble, even more so, to honor the people down. Right. Can you value the people below you? Okay. On an org chart. No one's below you. You know what I'm saying? But can you honor the janitor the same way you honor the bishop?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So now I can answer because I think I actually do better honoring down than I do up.
Okay.
And I think that has to do with ownership. So as a leader, which I do have teams that I lead, for me, when you have a team that takes ownership of what you do, you get the best out of them. And the best way to get people to take ownership is to really give that value. So in every email, thank you for everything you guys bring to the table. Thank you for everything you do. I think that's probably the most common form is a thank you. But I think maybe it was you and maybe you'll get there because we've been in meetings where you've talked about this. Really being specific. I appreciate when you blank, 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 blank. And so I think I've tried to do that a little bit more as a leader as well. Take those specific moments and don't just give general blanket thanks for everything you do, which I do in emails, but like when you're talking to someone specifically, Josh, I really appreciate it when you blank, 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 because then that lets people know you're paying attention. You're paying attention to what I do and what I bring. So I think that's easier for me sometimes than doing it up. Maybe that's a gap. But when's the last time I did that? The last time I sent an email. So, yeah.
It's kind of funny because honor is multifaceted. Yeah.
Come on, multifaceted.
In what it is. And I think that honoring, for me, is also empowering people. Like to say, like, hey, whether you're honoring down or honoring up, like you have to empower the person in leadership for you to like your submission is empowering. Right. So that's like, hey, I'm giving you my talent. But honoring down, like even with your child or with your nieces or nephews or whoever, like to empower them to do their own thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to give you I'm going to honor you. Like, hey, you're a 3-year-old. I'm going to give you the honor of putting on your own shoes because I'm going to empower you to do your own thing and be responsible for yourself.
I love that.
And so it's like, for me, it should be a consistent thing. But at the same time, I think that empowering people is always scary because if you're not firm in your own seat, like where I'm at, you know what I mean? Whether you're dad, whether you're pastor, whether you're bishop, whether you're worship leader, if you're not firm, then honoring down is like a scary moment because you're like, they're going to uproot me. You know what I mean? And I think that honor, because it's so multifaceted, because you got honor your mother and father, honor your wives, honor your husband, all these things biblically.
Come on, Bible.
It's like it's like specific things, but to me, it's empowering. Like, how can I empower you? Whether you're like a leader, like leaders, hey guys, I'm giving myself up to you. I'm going to serve you whatever way I can. Right. And being somebody that's just there, you know what I mean? Hey, I need you to sing this week. Bet, got you. You know what I mean? Giving yourself up to that service, empowering them to help them get that goal or go after what they're trying to go after. To me, that's honoring to the leader because it's honoring their vision. But for me, I think I try to honor people consistently because I feel like honor is the highest form of love and respect. That is my personal take.
That's good. I think honor can look different. It can look so different.
Yeah.
To me, honor could be you making sure their car is clean because you got to pick someone up from the airport. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we got a guest speaker coming and can you go pick them up? Honor is getting your car detailed for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Honor could be waking up early and getting the snow off your wife's car. Mm-hmm. That's honor.
Yeah.
I'm going out of my way to make sure that this person feels valued.
Your future husband.
Yeah, but I really do feel like it is value expressed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what honor really is, and I think that, like, especially young leaders need to see honor, because in the world you don't see it. You don't see that part.
Yeah.
I think one of the questions that we should ask ourselves is, what are you willing to do for honor? And maybe for honor is not right. What are you willing to do to honor? Right? Because we're all willing to do something to receive it. But but what am I willing to do? Am I willing to get up earlier than I normally do? You know, there was a leader still in my life that I had begun to want to be in their airspace, like just want to be around that person, really wanted to grow, wanted to be pushed, like wanted to be a part of the conversation. And they allowed me the opportunity. And they said, okay, you want to meet? Yeah, let's do it. And I'm thinking they're going to let me come to a staff meeting or something. They're going to let me sit in on an elders meeting, or he's going to spend some time with me one-on-one. He said, well, we meet at 6 a.m.
God.
And I probably shared this story before, but he said, we meet at 6 a.m. at this coffee shop. You can meet us there. And I knew that they were prompt. They were going to start at 6 a.m., if not 5:59. And so I said, ha, 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 ha. So I thought it was like a typo in the text. I said, so it's like 6 p.m.? Is that what you mean? Like in the evening? No, 6 a.m. Okay, yes, sir. Honor kicks in at that moment. Yeah. And you say, okay, this person is worth me honoring their time and what they're willing to give me, and I'm willing to give up. Right? And so I did that for for a long time, where we met consistently 6 a.m. at that coffee shop. Right? And life didn't stop or slow down. Right? Life still was life, but I made it a priority for me to grow, for me to gain access. This is what was asked of me, right? And so I just want to encourage people, like, it's okay. Nobody wants the short end of the stick.
Thanks.
I mean, because everyone feels like they deserve to be honored. Well, why don't you honor my sleep? You know what I mean? And that's just not how honor works. Like you don't go honor for honor.
Yeah.
You just honor because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? And if you have the opportunity to be honored, that's awesome. Yeah. That's cherry on top, right? But what I exist for is not to receive honor, it's to give honor. Yeah. Right? And out of that comes honor. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm talking in circles, but I just felt like that's for somebody too. Like, in this generation, this day and age, just everyone wants to be honored, but no one wants to give it.
So I think it's important, just really quickly, to really pull something out of what you said, because I think, to clarify, you were gaining in that space, right? You were gaining access, you were gaining experience, you were gaining wisdom, but that was not the honor point. The honor point is saying, because I'm getting something, I'm going to honor your routine, your time, and I'm not going to ask for any type of adjustment for me to get that. So I'm honoring the fact that you are leaving space for me, and so whatever it takes to do that. Because I think someone will look at that and say, well, you honor when you're getting something. I just want to make sure that's not the story.
Right.
The story is, yes, I'm getting access, but the honor is you have an existing way of doing things. And because I honor who you are as a leader, what you're giving me, and this relationship, I'm going to adjust myself for your value system.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I guess I'm pulling that out because I think in this culture, honor is for honor. And that's what we need to get away from.
I think you're absolutely right. And you bring clarity to that is super important.
Yeah.
And even to add to that, what it reminds me of is the thought that I was wrestling with is that honor does not equal agreement.
No, that's good.
But that's what we're talking about. It's like it's probably easier to honor if you feel like you're gaining something in return.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Right? But it's when you don't agree that you still honor.
Yeah.
That's honor.
Yeah.
You know? And so like even like with your pastor, like our context is church, obviously. I don't always agree with my pastor. That's human.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. You know, we're not in discord, in disagreement that is disruptive, right? But it's like if you choose to go this way and I would have went this way, but the end goal is the same place, we disagree.
Yeah.
But honor is not taken off the table because we're not in agreement.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's the part that like the bigger conversation is, how do you honor in disagreement? You know, because you can love the person but not like him in the moment.
I think that there has to be it has to be the conversation of at the end of the day, we don't know what we're gaining, because to honor your parents, and you have to do that in disagreement. We've all been
That's
true.
That's actually the scripture.
The scripture, yeah. To honor your mother and father. But it's like, think about when your mom's like, I don't want you hanging out with that boy or girl. And you like, I disagree because I want this person around.
Right.
I'm actually gonna look that up.
And you don't know what you're gaining from their wisdom.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you judge it based off of what you're gaining or what is gonna come to you, then that's not honor. It's just a it is a self-sustaining type thing. But to your question, the original question was, what would you do to give honor? To me, it has to be a change of lifestyle, kind of what you were saying. Because to me, honor is a lifestyle. We have to live honor. Like we embody it. To honor your mother and father is to embody their principles and their teachings. To honor God is to embody his principles and teachings. You know what I mean? And so if we say that pastor, eventually as you're moving your life to that time, you start embodying who he was and who he is. And then they're like, Matt, you're acting a little bit like Pastor such and such. And they just start to see that person on you because he has been slowly walked up to that place of honor. You know what I mean? And I think that to give honor, it has to be an adjustment. You have to adjust. You have to be willing to adjust and sacrifice and be pruned and be broken a little bit in order to honor somebody. But I think that in that's where you receive honor. Because you look at somebody honorable, you grow like them, and then you become honorable yourself, and then you start to receive honor from that. And I think that if we start looking at the goal instead of the value, like I want to be like this person. He's an honorable man. That's the goal. Instead of the value, like he's a pastor, he get 100 million Instagram followers, this and that. The value of who that person
value of if you honor them, what do you get?
Yeah, what do I get? If you look at the goal, I want to be like Pastor Tyus, I want to be like Pastor Matt, I want to be like Shay Shay. Then the reality is, listen, she's Shay Shay. Period. But I think the goal is more important than the value.
Absolutely.
Because you could be a janitor.
That's what I'm saying. That's that honor up and honor down, and both are deserving. One of the things that I've said before is like trust is given, not earned. And that's anti-culture as well. So you know me, just always anti whatever the norm is. So, but I just really believe that trust should be given. It doesn't have to be earned. And if you give freely, allow people to show you what they can handle and what they can't. Right? And so then you adjust the trust. Based off of relationship and experience. But you start every relationship with trust. Right? You don't have to earn it. It's yours. And that's a different thought process.
Absolutely.
Right? But I think it goes hand in hand with honor. So like my relationships should begin in the position of honor.
That's really good.
Always. And if I do that, then that is honorable in and of itself. But that's just showing that everyone deserves honor. And if I'm a servant in every relationship, right, then my position is always to out honor you. Mm-hmm. Like when I first got married, one of the first things we said is like, I think we learned this. The longer you get married, the more comfortable you become with a person, right? Mm-hmm. But it was like, if our goal is always to outserve one another, then both parties feel loved and cared for for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
But the minute it shifts to I am here to outserve you, to you're here to serve me, then it's toxic. Yeah. You know, that's you saying I deserve honor, and you better give it. And anyone who deserves honor never asks for honor. Mm-hmm. Just receive it. That's not a thing that you do. Like, you don't ask for honor. It's on me. I wrote this down. I get the honor to give honor, right? And so I have control of the honor. Mm-hmm. You don't have to ask me for more, right? I have control of how much honor I give. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I think that's good for everyone. Like, and again, what are we talking about? We're talking about everything from I will carry your bags, I will protect you, right? Like I will be you in the room when you're not in the room. Yeah. That's honor. That's huge. That's really, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I want people to know that, like, no, we're not going to talk like that. We're going to honor that person.
Especially
this is what we're
honor
going to do.
I think that's huge. Yeah. Like, yeah, I think that's huge as a leader and as someone, of course, who has a leader, to be, one, trusted to be me in the room, right? That's a level of honor to say, I trust that you'll keep my reputation, you'll keep things in line, but also to say, I'm willing to represent you in a room. Mm-hmm. I think that is a level of honor given as well, to say, I uphold your reputation, I value your value. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And even, like, I think submission is a hush word in this culture, but it's huge. Right. I submit who I am in this room for who you are in this room, like that. I think those things, if we really took a second to stop and think about it, that is the highest form of respect. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't require that I dumb me down, but it does make me secondary to what role I'm playing in that room. Yeah. That's really huge. Sidebar, because this is kind of cool. So I did look up that scripture. It's in two places. It's in Exodus 20, and it's also in Ephesians 6. But in Ephesians 6, come on, y'all. Mm-hmm. No, but it says, honor your mother and father, which is the first commandment with a promise. Mm-hmm. So honor, we said, don't honor to get, but honor is a commandment that comes with a promise of long life and possession. Mm-hmm. So when we honor, God honors us. Mm-hmm. That's Bible, y'all.
That's Bible.
I didn't even know. Look at us learning stuff together. But I think that's really cool.
That's huge.
God commands it, but then he also says, if you do that, I got you. With long life and with land, like possession, things. Yeah. Come on. I didn't even know.
To kind of speak to what you're saying, I think that within that idea, the cultural norm, we honor out of jaded. We start our relationships in jadedness. Like literally out of our...
Yeah. Preaching right there.
90%. Absolutely. Oh, the reset.
Oh, wait, why did it happen? Because it was so good. We were like, well.
Here's to the word.
But like, I feel like that's our norm. You know what I mean? Whether in church culture, whether in secular culture, our norm is to start our conversations with jadedness. Mm-hmm. Like, so true. I'm only going to trust you as much as this person hurt me.
That's so true.
And it's like...
That's so true.
How do you walk in a room to honor somebody if they're the last person? Man. You know what I mean? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a marriage, whether it's...
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Friendship,
right. And but I think that even to tie into your scripture, it all begins with your mother and father. You know what I mean? Whatever room you walk into, you're only going to respect those people as hard as much as they hurt you.
Please sing the offerings too. Y'all are fine. No, This man is
That's very
preaching.
good.
It's like,
that's so good.
It's crazy because Miles Monroe, a pastor, he spoke about being a father. He's like, the first level of being a father, you have to be honorable. And he's like, because it also speaks about the father, don't exasperate your children. And he's like, don't lead them to sin, but train them up in the Lord and allow them and literally guide them into truth.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're not a man who's honorable, then when your kids leave your house, they're going to be looking at everybody like, you're not honorable, you're not honorable, you're not honorable. So they never get, nor will they receive. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it all starts from a beginning, from one little seed. But it is literally if you really look at it, the reason why culture is so jaded and the gospel is so big is because if you look at these little things like honor and sacrifice and submission, those are literally the guidelines to society.
Pillars.
They're literally pillars that control people. Like, okay, so a father, honor your children. It gives them a firm foundation to start off. Then that person honors their friends. Then they honor their wife or husband. You know what I mean? It's a pillar of society and how to create a healthy person.
Right.
And I feel like within that, as a leader, you have to be the person that changes the norm. I'm going to honor you, not out of my jadedness, not out of the last kid that came into my worship team and decided to do all this crazy stuff, but I'm going to show you that you are valued here. You know what I mean? Regardless of what you look like, regardless of where you're coming from, regardless of any of that, I'm going to honor you. And then they're like, oh, wow, this person is honorable. So then that ladder of trust is built. Okay, yeah, right. Day by day, he calls me when I miss 2 weeks of church. Oh, wow, he's an honorable man. Oh, he actually does what he says. Oh, wow, this person's this. Then eventually you become that father figure, that pastor figure, all those things because that honor was built. Yeah. But I feel like if we change the norm of how about we try this as a group, as everybody, instead of leading with our jadedness, let's lead with honor. Like let's lead with a new level of honor, and let's just try that, and let's see where it takes us. Let's see what type of rooms it brings us in. We're always crying about the people that are around. Oh, these people, my friends are terrible. This person's terrible. My church people are terrible. The men that I find are terrible. The women I find are terrible. Why don't we lead with honor? You know what I mean? Lead with honor. Put that foot out first. Not I'm going to disrespect you. You know what I mean? And just to speak to the generational idea of what you were saying.
Well, there you have it. What an amazing conversation about honor with some awesome people. We were not prepared on how this conversation would unfold, and there's more that we want to share with you guys. So this became a two-parter for us. Here's part one. Hope you enjoyed it, but part two will be dropping soon to continue the conversation on honor. You guys know what to do. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Apple Podcasts. Refresh Talk coming at you soon with some more content. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much.